Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me?
Good morning and welcome back to Padova for the European Youth Ultimate Championships. Today's day 5 and we're into the pointy end of things here. Mixed division today to kick things off. We've got Italy taking on Poland pre-semi action. I'm Stefan Rapazzo here with Hannah Pendlebury to kick things off. Hannah, how's your morning going?
Oh, it has been absolutely delightful, Steph. We had a nice cycle to the pitches this fine morning. It's a real great day here. A light and gentle breeze, just about gusting up every so often, but those flags are pitches still on the back. So ideal conditions for a pre-semi-final.
And that's what we're into. Poland will kick off with the disc here. And we are underway. Wojcik dumps back, and she gets again. Now the move on. Vlasenko going back to Rud. Rud with the disc. Italians deploy a huck-stopping zone, a lot of lane space taken away. Let's see how the Poles deal with this. Wojcik dumps back. Zhukovsky goes around. Zlasenko. Zayonkovska moves that one to the side, and the Poles can't handle that as they lay out towards it. It bangs off the hands, hits the ground, and here come the Italians.
Yeah, Zhukovsky had a really good go at that, but just a little bit too much to be handled, and the zone pays off.
Zone gets the job done early. Here comes Italy. Masada goes back and then takes the up line there to Ravasio. Ravasio surveying options. Lo Giacono goes back. Now it's Malaguti. Gets a low one to handle to Ravasio. And the defense was there, but not quite. Malaguti goes wide. That's hanging. Not likely to be in the end zone, but inbounds. Isola chips back towards the center. Capello. Now back and in there. The assist from Suriano, and Italy break to start the game.
Yeah, lovely bit of toe action from Niccolò Malaguti. Just making sure that one stays in the end zone. And it looked for a moment like Matteo Isola was going to have to throw a greatest to keep that possession alive. Really left out on an island over there. But a nominative determinism, because as I know from our wonderful stats keeper, Elia, that Isola actually means an island in Italian.
Well, he stayed on the mainland for that one, kept his toes in, didn't have to go jumping into the island surrounding waters there, Hannah. But a nice bit of work, and we certainly know these juniors are more than capable of making these greatest plays if they need to. We've seen it happen with our own eyes. And if you missed it, you can go back and watch it on ULTI.TV.
Absolutely. That was from, of course, the game where we saw the Belgians playing against
France, I believe.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So Wolf Panamans doing what a certain De Grane couldn't do at the world stage, but he did it here at the youth levels for the Europeans. But that was a really good choice of a zone. You do see a lot of zones being played at the youth levels because, of course, the pass tally rising. You can sometimes bait a quirky throw out of these young players that, I mean, a lot of them have now been playing longer than some seniors athletes have, but still, it does work out. And we're also very familiar to seeing a lot of the Italian teams playing zone, so very well drilled in their local clubs.
Yeah, most certainly that is the Italian defining feature as their play style. Yes, Stronsky kicks things off, and now it's Lutz. He goes high overhead. It's going to be contested, but it is caught. Yes, Stronsky looks to the inside, gets the throw to go. Jacevich goes back. That one towards the corner, not in yet. Boguszewski with the assist, and Poland do hold on their second asking. They find a way by that zone, Anna.
Yeah, a good couple of slicing passes through. The over-the-top shot, I think maybe the coaches just reminded their players that actually there is not really much wind to speak of. Occasionally it rises and sort of just flutters the flags of nations on the sort of far stands where our fan cheering sections are. But generally speaking, there's very little to kind of get in the way of those higher release points. That slice through to hit Oskar Boguszewski was a really lovely find and sets up the assist beautifully. So a hold after being broken for the Poles, and in only 8 passes against the zone, whereas it was 22 that saw them come unstuck in the opening possession.
The zone, you know, I've always said in a zone there's always something open, and I guess when juniors are playing, you challenge the something open to be a crafty throw. You got to go over top, you got to throw a blade, you got to throw a hammer. It's always there, and when the conditions are like this, that's a dare I would be willing for my team to accept going into a pre-semi at the European Championships. You got to take those, and the Poles handled it very well on the second asking.
Absolutely. We are indeed, as you said, Steph, in the pointy end of this tournament. So business action, you really do have to fight to try and stay in the championship bracket if you can in this division with just 7 teams.
Novelli, the 16-year-old, bringing it in for the Italians. Now he's got Totti. Oh, and a miss there. And the Poles will get their first break chance. Here they come. Yes, Tronsky gets it forward. Kirecki. Oh, and just hung on to there, Wojcik. Moved on again to Lutz. Lutz, of course, had that visionary throw that broke open the zone, and now trying to work it to get their conversion. Jablonska gets it forward again. Descour goes into the dump space. Jastrzomski. Oh, floating, but too far in front. The throw from Kirecki. Just a bit too much on it, Hannah.
Yeah, Grishecka, no real opportunity to make a play on that one. It's just really, I have to say, Steph, this is actually, I think, the first mixed game I've had the pleasure of calling so far this entire championship. And it's such a pleasure to watch youth athletes in the mixed division. Showing my age a little bit, when I played juniors, we didn't have a mixed division.
Yeah, they could barely fill up the open and women, so mixed was usually the division that got Ixnade. A great show of where the sports come to now in Italy. Still looking to hold here after 2 turnovers in the point, and a massive humanity sees Totti come down with the Eurodisc in hand. He dumps back to Novelli. Novelli waits for the up line to develop. There he has Mariani, and back to Novelli. Novelli with a nice quick throw under the flailing arm. Across to Santalena and back, and now Totti again. Novelli on the inside. Novelli sees Totti. Ooh, that Lutz took it away and Totti hung off on the throw. Now 2 inside throws avail. Mariani goes deep with the lefty flick, and the chase does get there. I believe that's Nanetti on the reception, and Italy hold, it looks good on the second attempt.
Yeah, really keeping the eyes on the prize all the way through that cut was Giacomo Nanetti. I have to say, it was a little bit of a dude ball for the Italians in the late sort of stages of that possession, but I really, really enjoyed watching the battle between Tommaso Totti and Oscar Lutz. That is going, if those two players continue matching each other during the course of this game, we're going to be delivered some really scintillating stuff. First, there was that high sky ball, and then there was a race towards this near sideline, which I do believe we're going to get now on the replay. Look at that. Really great physicality, staying well spaced from each other on the bodily control front, but really both gunning for every single disc. And it just pops off to that lefty. Mariani already doing damage. Because really does ask the questions. You have to adjust your mark effectively whenever you're matching up with a left-handed player. It's a little bit like how they have the advantage in sports such as tennis. It's just that little bit quirkiness. Although sometimes you get lefties playing against each other, and they're so used to playing with right-handed players, they also get undone.
Yeah, you get twisted up with those lefties, whether you're one of them or not. Never, well, not never, but it takes a little bit of in-game rhythm to get used to the throw coming out of the opposite non-popular hand.
Indeed, and then you get those pesky people who are fully ambidextrous.
Oh, goodness gracious, them. Girotto, one who's a Padova native, plays for Team Italy. There comes the under, Polska, Zlasenko. Ooh, and throws right into the defense there. Isola puts that one to ground in his favor to be rewarded with the turnover, and now Italy going the other way. Lo Giacono. Ooh, but throws too far in front, and the Poles will get it back again. Up immediately, and now into the hands of Ruud. The around cut from behind, Made. A lot of jinking and jiving behind the disc. Ruud collects. Now goes big. It looks like that's going to work. It does indeed, not quite in yet. Made with the disc on the goal line. Dumps back to Ruud. Ruud leading through. Nice little piece of work there. Hasse with the goal.
Well, an absolute beauty of an arcing flick from Christoph Ruud. Just sailed through the air. I mean, the separation that Susanna Made had managed to achieve downfield was also well worth crediting. See how she sets up her cut on this one. Just
what a great angle.
Yeah, really just leaves her mark for dust. Elisa Vezzani had absolutely no way of catching up until the very last moment to apply the force. Makes herself available, but just finds the shot through with a dad backhand.
Nice finish on the dad backhand. There are moments where the dad backhand is very appropriate. There are moments where it's really not as well.
Yeah, well, especially when you're throwing to a player in kind of a small space where you don't want to put too much pace on it. That one just needs to be gentle because the separation from Leila Hasse is already there, already very clear. So you just, sometimes if you go for the forehand throw in that situation, you're going to put a little bit too much pace on it. You can go for a high release, sort of go for the kind of elevator soft pass, but again, just keeping it nice and simple, low release, lots of spin. So, all holds since the first break of the game for the Italians, and the pace of things has moved up a little bit. We're still seeing turnovers, but that one was pretty easy work for the scoring possession.
Italians receive right at about the brick mark and waste no time to go the other way. Wow, what a reception. Panizio keeps it in hand, a one-throw possession. Mariani set it up.
Yeah, well, we talked about the pace really rising, and that is how to do a one-pass score. Massive respect to Franciszek Gerus, who really did close up the gap at the last moment. He gave him a little bit of a step. You can see here, doesn't quite commit. Looks like to spend a lot of time looking over the shoulder to see if the disc is going up. You can really afford, especially at a national level, when you're representing your home nation and you're going to have an active sideline, you can afford to concentrate more on your matchups a little bit. It is always worth, having the presence of mind, playing heads-up defense and being cognizant of where the disc is. But actually, that's probably more a little bit your sideline's job to let you know when the throw goes, as opposed to kind of, Vittorio Panizio is not a player you want to just allow to race off to the deep space. 190 centimeters tall, nearly 2 meters.
And caught that one with his offhand too. There's a lefty grab. Just a little bit more impressive still.
Well, he is a Bologna native, so I'm sure his reads have been well honed by, of course, that local hotspot of Ultimate.
Yeah, he has many, many teachers over there.
He started playing in school.
Here comes Polska, looking to do their part to continue the trading right now after that first break. Lutz, who cuts into the middle and then through the zone there. They get a little bit of breathing room, Made, before the Italians reset. Now Descour. Fakes the hammer. Not many people biting on that one.
We haven't seen any overheads yet in this game.
Zhukovsky to Lutz. Now inside. Boguszewski. Back to Descour. Descour looking to get open again, and he does. Now inside. Made to Lutz, and again Lutz. Łomaniczka on the doorstep. Łomaniczka back to Lutz. Lutz very jumpy with disc in hand, ready to pounce with the throw, but he goes wide side. Zhukovsky, high release, and that is swatted away. Excellent leaping play on the defense.
Yeah, Vandelli making no mistake there, reading the play beautifully, just trying too hard to go over the top, needed more patience.
Italians sneaking a few through, and now seeing if they can take advantage of it. Can the bid come? The bid comes, but the disc is down in front. Lo Giacono can't get there. Poles jamming it up the old jam hole here near sideline. Getting a lot of action. Now towards center. Inside, outside. They're taking every hallway. Boguszewski still not in. That one on the doorstep. In to Lutz. It is in the end. Poles work very quick back the other way.
Yeah, that was an exceptional counter response after that initial turnover. From both sides, making really quick work of it. Lo Giacono, probably had a moment where he could have made an aerial play on that very long, very pacey disc that sort of ended up landing out of bounds. Probably about there, maybe you've got to kind of leave your feet, try and go for the verticality, because you really are going to run out of room. I think even if that disc had come into his hands, that last moment of possession before it hit the ground, probably would have landed out of bounds. So just a little moment missed for a break opportunity for the Italians. But they managed to hold on to Poland with that great save. Christian Zhukovsky just laying his body out to keep it alive. But it was all about the threading the passes down the sideline, keeping the active movement. I'm really enjoying watching Łomaniczka play. She's really active, really kind of communicative in her body language with her teammates. And of course, a first goal of the game for Oskar Luch. And all of the Polish fans watching this stream, I'm sure, will be very happy. Luch actually only 16 years old. Started because of, again, his ultimate lessons in school, which made him fall in love with the sport. He also plays football and says hello to his fans, his friends and family at home, and also his dog and pet turtle.
Pet turtle.
I like turtles.
Is he named after a Renaissance artist, Michelangelo or Leonardo or something?
I don't know, but there's a film recently released that you can watch to enjoy all of those stars.
Totti goes back to Novelli. And Totti again. Near sideline, he winds up, had an open dump, but not engaged immediately. Now back to Novelli. Novelli gets a nice catch from Cicchetti, and on to Totti. Ooh, Totti puts a little touch. I thought it slipped out, but it had a whole lot of touch on it is what it was.
Yeah, we're being denied the pleasure of the Totti-Lutz matchup. It's taking on a different assignment. But of course, it's the number 45, Szykovski, who's been tasked with marking out the big man, Tommaso Totti.
Here come the Italians. Panizio rather, gets it to Gelli. Gelli winds up, and it's Panizio on the other side. The big receiver, not to be denied. Beautiful throw by Gelli.
Well, another reception for the big man of Bologna. This time besting, as you said, Cirecki. Looking at the overall stats for this tournament, unsurprisingly, plenty of action in the end zone for Vittorio Panizio. We've seen 2 goals in this game already, although he's been more on the kind of assisting side of things. So you think maybe the earlier games for the Italians, perhaps they're using him more as a downfield threat, not quite all the way into the end zone, but the throws are really on the money this morning. We can thank the low wind conditions for that. And of course, some great doggo action. There is a tiny, tiny dog, a Polish fan dog, somewhere around that was chasing a ball this morning that was almost 3 times its size, it felt like.
3 times its size.
It felt like. It wasn't really, because obviously you wouldn't, if you're a doggo, you're not going to get your jaws around it. But we love to see it. Of course, not all field complexes allow doggos to be here. But there's some dogged defense being played by both sides. We haven't seen that much zone coming out in the midsection of this first half. It's just been transitioning to match defense, but with the Italians coming out on D now, we may yet see another one for the Poles to slice through.
And the Poles off and running. Made goes forward into the hands of Womanichka. She gets a layout to keep possession from Descour. Back inside, nice crafty throw behind the defense, Jacevich. And now it's Womanichka again. Inside throw. Rud. Ooh, and knocked away. Iacono smacks it away. The Italians get a chance. Isola playing out of his own end zone. It's a gainer there, Marchetti. Marchetti and a rising stall count goes to Ravasio. And another rising stall count here. Bailout, ooh, well received by Isola. Rud was all up in his space. Isola again. Melfi. Isola. Nice reception there, strong hands by Marchetti. To Isola. And Iacono. And the sideline screaming for it. Iacono gets the message and calls the timeout, Hanny.
Yeah, that was really great match defense from the O-line of Poland. They just denied a lot of the passes. There was that really high stall count option. Getting another look at the D that gave the opportunity for the Italians. What a fantastic flailing bid from Logicono. This one so nearly, I mean, that would have been almost, I don't know, you can see the goal line there, not quite Callahan country. But still lots of pressure being put on by Christoph Ruud. Did everything he could. I think it was just a case of not having quite the right position to really make the perfect play on it. But mighty, mighty close with zero contact. You have to respect it. And that intense match coverage really slowing down the options upfield.
Slowing down the options upfield. We're going to take a little break too, and we'll be back at full speed after these words. We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc. What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it! Come on, Brett! Force Ultimate have now arrived here on site in Padova. Get to the tent, get yourself some gear if you're one of those lucky enough to be on site. If not, get on their website and order some of the goods and set your team up for the future.
I really like the transition actually to the online ordering of tournament stash, because it means that they don't end up with loads of extra gear at the end of an event.
Yeah, it's great. You get to, I mean, from a sales perspective, come with a good stash, sell it out. No waste, everybody's happy, and if they're not happy, they were too slow or too busy winning or whatever it may be to get to the tent, okay, get online and it gets delivered a week later maybe, you're all sorted out.
And also, for obviously the amount of flights that we now take around Europe that don't include any kind of real meaningful hand luggage, you can also save yourself some packing space by ordering it to your home as well.
Yeah. Don't get kicked off your Ryanair flight or get charged double for one extra shirt. Loiacono. Ooh, nice reception again there, and Capello gets it. The two poles bang into each other, and Ruud is gonna come off shaken up.
Well, he'll be replaced by Christian Tchaikovsky, who's been taking up some of the really big matchups on defense, so I like that as a substitution.
Italy, Melfi goes around. Marchetti, Capello with the hair flying under that hat. Marchetti, Capello. Not quite there yet. Isola goes back to center. Balista to Isola. And the Italians feathering around that goal line now. Isola shoots for goal. Gets a play, but can't hang on. And it's Marchetti that puts it to ground. Poland will start from their line.
Yeah, a really valiant effort. And a nice move as well, sort of the crush coming through from that very near side cut right in front of the handle space, kind of opening up that channel, but it was a bit too much of a squeeze.
Zajączkowska moves the disc on. And again, Descour. It's the upline cut, not available throw. The second throw goes, and there was a slip, but Żukowski does handle it. He gets it again. Żukowski winds up. Descour is there, but it's too far, and the Italians are going to get it back.
Yeah, a nice look, but too much haste. I mean, Tchaikovsky's ability to bounce back up off the ground after that stumble to still make the reception on the centering pass was pretty dynamic.
It's almost like he's 18 years old or something.
Oh, I know.
The spring back in those young bodies.
Yeah, almost less than half of some of our ages up here in the booth.
Well, less than half of the others in the booth.
What do you mean, Steph? You're only 25, right?
Yeah, thank you, Hanny. You win brownie points. So this game, of course, was played yesterday in pool play, Hanny. A tight one yesterday. I asked if they really played it, and the answer was yes, but I think that there was a couple players rested as well, so they really did play it, but it's not the exact dynamic we're seeing here today. Of course, that one went to Poland.
Indeed, 15-13, and in a very tight game as well against the Swiss for the Italians yesterday, 15-14, a proper full universe stretch.
Yeah, this mixed division is really coin flippable as far as predictions go. Like, anyone could take this division still this late in the week. It's tough to really pick them.
Yeah, but it's all about the French and looking at the clean sweep, because of course, as long as with the Swiss, they were the athletes that managed to get themselves the bye round into semi-finals.
Indeed, Isola for the Italians. Ravasio goes back inside to Isola. Isola over the shoulder, gets a reception. Balista goes back to Capello. Melfi to Ravasio. Oh no, and a stumble causes the drop by Balista, and now she's calling the injury. You did see an ankle wobble there right before the moment of potential reception.
Yeah, nice to see her coming off the pitch under her own steam, though. Hopefully she can keep that ankle joint moving and flowing to stop it from getting too much swollen.
As far as serve dictates, this would be a hold now for Poland. Zhukowski with the disc, and just a little bit of discussion as far as defensive placement goes, where people were upon the stoppage, where the replacement player is. Vizzani who's in, and one more time, let's start this again.
Yeah, a little violation. Of the 3 points of offensive lines that have scored so far in this game, the Italians have had 2 clean holds, 1 dirty, and the Polish the opposite. Only the 1 clean hold so far in this game.
Descour goes forward. Made, big gainer there, and then immediately in for goal. Poland gets it done. Zhuchowski with the assist.
Yeah, Zuzana Made, though, with that hockey assist, the big break, finding the up-line space. The 19-year-old, her final rotation here at the Youngsters Division. Which, of course, was on the under-20s team back last season at the World Joint Juniors Championships. And her career highlight is getting first place for the Women's Championship back home for the number 16. But really nice play afterwards, and a solid hold for Poland after 2 turnovers apiece in that game. Just get another look at that run-through block from Womicka. We'll talk about her play all game long. But these 2 teams exceptionally well matched, going toe-to-toe. I do think unless the Poles can really clean it up, then I do see the Italians running away with this one, just because they have been that little bit more efficient thus far. But of course, just the 1 break, so it could go all the way.
I agree, they do look tied here at this stage of the game, but we have seen that reversal of fortunes all too many times, Annie. And I'm just gonna respond to the chat here. Nas giving me age jabs. What's going on? Just because he's still playing at the same age. But just turned 35, yeah.
I think still some of my favorite social media that's come out of this event from Chow Frisbee was watching Nas do a bench press on the back of Davide Mori.
It's brilliant, absolute brilliant. Shot, Panizio goes for goal. The reception is there. Did he stay in? That is the question. Nanetti has the disc in hand, there's already players wondering whether we've got the replay, if we might help.
Well, the looks on both of the players who were, you know, in the actual best perspective to make that call, neither of them were looking at their feet. So they just shrug and say, yeah, no idea. Is anyone going to look at that? But what a fantastic grab nonetheless. So watch that back line. So there's the catch. Yeah, really unfortunate, but fantastic to have the video showing that it's not quite there.
Very close. I think our angle was reasonably good that set out. I'm not sure it was perfect. I'm not sure if the decision is agreed upon or not. They're still working it out, which is the way this is meant to go.
Well, with both players, I say, having had that clear expression of, I don't know, does anyone know? I feel like using the replay is a good idea, but they'll obviously, the players on the field are the ones that get to make the decision. Our view and our cameras can be used, but really our ideas matter not. Let's get another look at that replay though. From our angle, it's always going to be biased a little bit. That does look a lot like they picked up some chalk on that left cleat.
Yeah.
We need a little bit more chalk, so it's more tennis, you know. Sometimes when the ball hits, you get that little puff of smoke, but it's going to be called a goal by the looks of the hand signals.
Going to be called a goal by the looks of the hand signals. Interesting indeed. Nothing conclusive, so I can't say I am totally for, totally against that call. I think because of the doubt, I would have normally
sent it back.
Yes, sent it back.
Well, let's get another look at that. Yeah, from our angle, we are biased because we are further away. We do not have the best perspective. Of course, if you want to see us with more cameras to get those sideline lines, almost Hawkeye style, then please do consider becoming a patron.
Preach it, Annie.
Yep,
Preach it.
More cameras, more crew, more tournaments, more fields. You know how it works, folks. Get yourself onto patreon.com/ULTI.TV. Like, subscribe. I see only 25 people have liked this game so far,
That's
Steph.
it? 26 people like us? I take this as a reflection of myself. No, I don't. But surely this game is more likable than Hannah and I. Get on it. Give us a like. We just got one more. Boom. Look at it go up. It just baffles me because I know it's really difficult to hit the button. You can't. It's not easy. You got to like actually lift your hand above your heart level, move it over the mouse.
It's a real effort, you know.
It takes
you have,
a lot
you
of
have
work.
to spend several kilojoules of your own body's energy to do it. But we love you guys. Lovely to have you in the live chat alongside with us. Let us know where you're tuning in from and who you are rooting for.
Who's going to win this one? It is anyone's game at this stage. Italians with a 5-4 lead in the break. Here comes Polska. Jastrzewski goes back. Descour finds a nice hole through the zone. And the leading throw, though, gets bobbled. Womanicka put it in front, and Descour couldn't handle. Italy now. Battalino goes to the far side, Marchesini. Now Battalino again. Gets a gainer there. Righi.
It's a real compare and contrast style. I tell you what, that's a great run through. Dean nearly throws it away though.
Yeah, beautiful run through. Descour's got to slow things down just a bit here before people get too excited on this goal line stand. And that pick call might be just what they needed.
Well, I was going to say the Italian O-line and D-line play very different styles of offense. Certainly, I'd like to see their D-line get a little bit more feisty and go for some of those deep shots.
Descour leads one in, not quite to goal. Made goes back and gets it again out of the hands of Jastrzewski. Made breaks with the backhand. Reception, two hands strong in the air. That's Petro Ganev with the goal. It's 5 apiece.
Well, leveling us back up here are the polls. That brilliant series for Tatana Made. collects another assist, but also that big old run-through block. Female matching players for Poland are really being very dynamic on defense. That's not the first run-through D we've seen from them. Romanitska obviously having had one just a few points ago, but again, there is a lot of conservatism from the D-line offense for the Italians. They don't go for those kind of, risky, well, I say risky, those early deep shots that we've seen their O-line go for. They've had 2 possessions that have worked out completely cleanly with less than 3 passes. The big sort of chuck it into the end zone for some of their big male receivers. But we don't hate to see it because the execution has been dreamy to watch. There might be some questions asked watching this one back, perhaps, depending on the overall result as to whether that previous score for the Italians was in or out of bounds, but it's called good on the field, and that is what matters.
That's what counts in the end. And of course, speaking of what counts, the Swiss and the French have used their victories prior in the week to get a day off today. That's what the bye equals when you really boil it down. They do not play today. They await the winner, so the winner of this one will go on to play Switzerland, and the other, being Hungary, Belgium, will go on to play the French.
Yeah, and look at the difference of the pass tallies here. You can tell the Italians have been applying zone. The Polish 118 versus 87.
A show of efficiency, a show of defensive deployment with that pass count.
Whereas of those passes, only 12 of them have been for the Polish D-line.
Well, here comes Italy once again. Cicchetti to Novelli. The Vuvuzela sound. Home crowd getting excited, zips one upfield, but it hits turf in front of the intent. Polska. Gainer inside. Donetski goes back. Wide stance, a big pivot by Jacevich. Jacevich delivers the backhand. It floats, it's caught, and big meters gained there as bodies tumble, but nothing called. Play on. Slasenko.
I do like the pause from everyone to just make sure that they're okay, but indeed, no call.
Continue Jablonska. Ooh, just puts it behind, but handled by Slasenko. In for goal! Polska get a big one there. That is a break.
And we are finally back on serve after the Italians clawed their way through with 13 passes to take, 22 passes even to take the first goal. No, actually, no, I was right the first time. It was 13 to 22 with that first zone look from the athletes in blue, but leveling us back up just before the half time. 6-5, and that big put sort of into space, slightly high stall option, but really well taken out of the sky by Żywkowski. And a timeout from the Italian coaches to reconfigure things. So they've been really challenging the Polish O-line, making them throw, as we already saw, so many passes.
What a great game we've got so far. An opening break, trading until now, and then a break to bring us back on serve. There's one last look, the drone angle of the score. Lutz to Jablonska, and Jablonski, sorry, and it is 6-5 on serve, Polish lead. They're gonna take a break out there. We're gonna take a little break too. We'll be right back with more action after this timeout.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
And back into play after the timeout. Poles set to pull. And that one floats down to the Italians. We're all back on serve here. Big wind up. Sent deep right away. He's going to get there. Totti, disc in hand on the doorstep. Tries to engage right away. One receiver, one spot. Good turn. Nice cut there by the number 8 shirt, Matilde Simonazzi. Gives just what's necessary, and Italy score very, very quickly.
And that would be why Tommaso Totti has had so many assists in this tournament. It's really clear they like to send their male-matching players into the deep space off the back of things. I'd like to see an adjustment from the Polish defense to have one of their best deep defenders to just sit off the back of the play in the initial stages, someone to just play a bit of a help defense off the set plays, someone who's going to just absolutely deny, stay in front, allow the players to sandwich that deep threat in the initial stages. Because I don't mind, if you're the Polish defenders, giving an early under option for the Italians, because it's very, very clear that is the style they're enjoying playing. It's been effective for them now. 3 of their holds in this game. There was one where there's a turnover generated, which was the first O-line point of the Italians. They went for the 2 passes and they ended up turning over. But if you can do what the Italians have done to the Poles and make them throw lots and lots and lots of passes, I think you're going to get yourself some real opportunities for another break in this game. But you have to credit it. That was fantastic work from the Italians. And Simonazzi, that one-on-one in the end zone, you're always going to see, well, I say always, it's going to be a real challenge for the defense to try and get the disc off the offense in that situation, because the advantage for the offensive player is just very big.
Yeah, get rid of all that traffic passing through and congesting things, just a 1-to-1. That scoring option gets that much easier, but never anything guaranteed. You got to work your way through it one way or another. Ruud and Poland. Ruud jacks it. That seems more polite than rude to me. And that one counts as well. It's Descour who comes through with the score.
Well, Poland taking a leaf out of the Italian playbook. There's been such a demonstration of how easy it is to throw in these light wind conditions. And that one, a leading pass, which had several options underneath it, really making the Italian defenders now have to rethink things and respect the deep space. With the amount of zone that had been played, they had to really kind of try and pressure the space around the disc, which is something that Italian defenses are generally pretty good at. But that one, just a beautiful break, huck around the foot of Yoyakono.
There it is again.
Yeah. Desco says his sporting heroes are Leo Messi and John Randolph.
They both play the same sport? I don't think so.
But also plays for the club side Sky This, which is a great team name if ever there was. But a timeout being taken on the field.
We're going to take 1-2. We'll have a short break here and be back with more action after this timeout.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe. ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world
And
and
beyond.
beyond.
Back in action, 7-6 on serve. Polska have taken back the advantage 2 points ago with their break, and they've traded again since then. We're into a good one here. What a first half, Hannah.
Absolutely. There have been rare opportunities for breaks for the Polish team, but they have been pretty good at getting themselves in opportunities and position on offense. See if they can break for half or if we're going to go to a galaxy point situation.
Oh my goodness. Italy with the disc. Here they come. Arisi goes forward. That's Cicchetti now. Cicchetti fakes the scuba and instead goes back to Arisi. Into the backfield, and then Cicchetti again. And that's going to be a foul. I think the run through from behind the outstretched arm. Dump back, and Cicchetti again. Oh, the run through by Lutz. And Polska, they don't want Galaxy Point. They want halftime. Jastrzonski goes back. Żukowski. Now the scoop into space. Descour with the goal. That's a break, Hannah, and that is a half taker.
Oh my lordy me. Well, there have been 3 turnovers the entire game for the O-line of the Italian mixed side, and that is 2 for 3 on break chances being converted by the Polish D-line. They have made the adjustments in the late stages of this first half to really do some damage and shut down those early options. But a zone being played, I really like this as an option. They are really reading the spaces well on the underneath. So I think that's the 3rd or 4th run-through defensive block that we've seen the Polish able to get, and a cheeky scuba over the top, because it's always cheeky when it's that kind of release, especially the high release scuba. Well, what a way to take half. The Poles looking in pole position here, trying to deny the Italian nation a clean sweep at the under-20s level. Of course, it really is looking like it's going to be a French-Italian battle for the open and women's sides, but are they going to knock them out here? Can the Polish do it? I believe right now.
These delegations charging to get all 3 in, but everyone else looking to prevent that from happening. We'll see how this one shakes out in the second half. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with you for second half action. We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc. What a grab! Oh my God! Somehow they do it!
Always on the move? you can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
And back in action here, halftime. Here's a look at the match stats. 8-6 at the top of those is the score. Hannah, what else jumps out at you there?
Well, we talked about it before the halftime break. 2 for 3 on break chances being taken by the Polish nation. It's really, really a very impressive stat. 66% conversion rate for the D-line, and they're coming out on defense again into the second half. Can they really demoralize their opponents? The body language of the Italians during the halftime was not great. They had a couple of heads down. They're still in this game. Coming out on offense here, you know, within one of their opponents if they can punch this in. Of course, looking to get themselves into semi-finals. But the pass tally here, a little bit of stats for you extra. The split between the two, Poland 116 passes for their O-line, 25 for their D-line, whereas it's much more even affair, 45 and 62 respectively for the Italians.
Italians, disc in hand, Mariani, and a bid there, and I think we're being told it's a strip is the claim.
Well, let's get a look on our replays. Slow the action down. Oh, that is too close to call, really, isn't it?
If there's a foul, I can understand. If the call is a strip, too close to call, I didn't really see possession.
We did see a game yesterday where the defense said, if it's a strip, we can test it, but if it's a foul, we accept it, and I think that's probably the same scenario here.
Yeah. And back at it, Balista. Spinning around, looking for an option, high stall count. Novelli. Bouncing mark is Lutz. Totti, but the bid comes in front. Zhukovsky takes it away.
What just happened, Steph? That was fantastic.
Unbelievable athleticism by these Polish youth right now. Yes, Tronsky, but the throw goes over top, and the Italians get another piece of it. Zipped one upfield quickly. Italians coming out of their own end. Balista on the reception. Midfield, far sideline. Geli. Geli has not been shy to open up the big shots. And Totti under the pressure again. And this time, the landing not so soft for the Polish defender.
Well, I have to say, as he sort of rolls himself back up the correct way, I'm really glad to see that, actually. And that shoulder is still in its socket, which is good. But I actually said earlier on in this game, Stefan, that I was sad not to see more Lutz on Totti action. But actually, the matchup Zhukovsky has been putting up as well has been really, really dynamic. That big old block earlier in this point. He will be replaced by Boguszewski. but doing a really great job of shutting down Totti.
Some incredible defensive pressure by the athletic Polish defenders, and now Italy tries to get around them. Novelli fakes the backhand, turns back inside. High stall count, gets one off to Totti, and every other throw to Totti is being hotly contested. Balista goes back, Gelli. Gelli backhand inside, and there it is. Mariani, the Italians evade this flying defense and cash in a goal.
Well, the pressure that the Polish are now putting on the Italians is really palpable. Gone a distant memory are those 1 or 2 pass scores. That took 11 to complete on the second asking for the Italian mixed side. And let's get another look at that flying bid on the second one. Not quite there. Of course, denied Totti before. And unsurprising to see Tommaso Totti taking some of the biggest defensive matchups in this game. A clear danger player, but great footwork in the end zone. Mariani with another stats to his tally. That's 2 assists and the 1 goal. See there, the spin move, turns round and just absolutely breaks the ankles of his matchup. Really, really fantastic work.
Yeah, Totti, one of the leading scorers for Italy going into this. In fact, 3 of them with 16 stats. But Totti, 11 goals and 5 assists before this game started. So certainly Poland, between watching back some footage and checking out the stats, would know how to assign their matchups as best possible. And they're doing a pretty good job keeping Totti occupied.
Well, Mattia Gelli there with the assist, just 15 years of age. He started playing because Davide Mori came to his school and invited him into the sport. Plays, of course, for the Red Bulls, and got the his experience with the under-17s Italian team last Euros. Of course, that's been now separated out and will happen alongside the World Championships at the under-20s level, so joint juniors.
Poland with the disc and the advantage with an extra break on their side. Sanicic gets it forward now. Boguszewski. Nice casual one-handed reception there. Sanicic sends forward, and that was there, but slipped out of the hands and goes back to the Italians. Marchesini, Loiacono. Ooh, floats one up and got away with one. Threw over a help defender there. Marchesini, and they've given it back.
Yeah, Bominichka making up for her earlier error, just shepherding that one into the dust.
Boguszewski to Ruud. Ruud scoops over top. Made. Near sideline, Sanicic. Made. Made really working the fakes, trying to see if she can get this zone front to move and offer new angles of attack. Made. Zlasenko. And straight back to Made. Sanicic. Italian zone. Limiting, and now taking away. Marchesini picks up. He realizes what this one means. He threw away the last one. He doesn't want that to happen again. They're going to stop and talk about it, Hanny.
Yeah, really pressuring the resets and the handler space. There's good kind of separation in the near part of the field for the Polish. I'd like to see them stretch and be a bit more dynamic, though, sort of in the deeper space within the pitch. They do have some players that are sort of hanging out, keeping the deep deep of the zone occupied, but not really stretching it with too much energy and attack. And there's been certainly moments when the Poles have really rinsed through the Italian zone by throwing those over-the-top shots. So they've got to give themselves the opportunities in those spaces because it's still a low-win situation.
Low-win situation. We're coming up to halftime. Love to see you guys all in the chat. Even Davide Mori in the chats. I think the first time I've seen him there after he took us out for a wonderful lunch last week, Hanny. What a treat we had. We're going to tell you more about the treats in the second half because that's where all the goodies are coming. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back after these halftime words.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
We are back. It was not halftime. I saw an 8 on the board and got confused. A timeout early in the second half. I think I was just so amazed that Davide Mori can work the internet. And he is, it's great to see him in the chat. I'm sure he's got some assistants over there teaching him how to access the chat bar.
It's a real thing, Steph. We have lots of grandparents, parents, you know, people who maybe were not born in the internet age, and they managed to find our streams because, of course, they're live and free to watch.
Here comes the Italians looking to break, put things back on serve. Marchesini on the doorstep. Fakes the lefty over top. Now the high release, everything. Then he puts it in, finds the receiver, Massara, and the Italians. Couple of snowmen on the board, Hanny.
Indeed, 8 apiece and back on serve. The Poles with the natural advantage. Well, it's a question, Steph. Did they win the toss? Because, of course, we know that Italian teams do like to choose defense, but I don't like doing that when you're in championship meaningful games, when you're in elimination rounds where you have to win or go and only play for consolidation. It's a real ballsy move.
It is. We've talked about it like there are, okay, if you choose defense, you are making a statement by saying, I am so good, I will negate a natural advantage of the game. And if there's a psychological edge or advantage you get, by all means, go ahead, play your game, do it the way you want to. But if you lose on Universe Point, there is egg on your face.
I have to say, Steph, I've commentated this season a number of finals where the team that won the toss chose defense. And it's currently a 0% win rate in those finals this season. So it's a controversial choice. The punditry is apt for it. We do like discussing it over and over, but we'll just assume that the Polish team won and chose offense.
Yeah, let's assume the best.
But either way, this game is delivering everything we expected it to. A rematch from yesterday, as we already mentioned, that one went 15-13 in favor of Poland. So let's see if either team can pull away in the early stages of this second half. There will be a stream game in the 4 p.m. slot, we do believe.
There will be. We do not know what that game will be quite yet.
Indeed, Germany women versus the loser of the game going on behind us, Great Britain and the Czech Republic.
Okay, we do know everything.
Well, I can't tell you who's going to win that game because that's still ongoing.
Zhukovsky goes wide and around over top. Made. Yachevich, and that one broken up. Layakono is on the bike, riding next to Marchesini, trying to get forward. Now some Polish congestion, trying to break that up and get their disc back. Marchesini goes backwards. Massara. Marchesini has to turn the corner and put the jets on to catch up. Travel called. He recoils and taps it back in. Vandelli. Marchesini. Marchesini wide and around. Big throw, big result. Ravasio there. A lot of people giving Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations.
Yeah, pit call on the centre of that end zone pack. I'm not surprised to see it. There was some really good help defence from the female matching players of Poland. Really good sort of recovery. There was a moment where Oszczanda was sort of trying to catch up, playing deep against the Italian zone.
Back in the hands of Marchesini. Centered, Loiacono. The lefty went to fake with the right, and that one went flying the wrong direction. And an immediate foul called. I wouldn't mind seeing this again because I didn't quite see the contact. I saw even less of it the second time around.
That does look a little bit like being touched by a ghost. The coaches will now, well, the Italian coach and one of the players from the Polish team will now have a look at it, because he completely got sold down the river before the throw. It looks like it's going to be retracted by the looks of the hand signals. I think we're now going to get potentially the... No, not the players coming over, just the players coming to get to the disc. But that did look... That's a bizarre one for me.
That is
bizarre.
I didn't see any contact there.
Oh, the players are going to come look. They're going to come look. All right, then. Here we go. Video assistance.
This is best case scenario for a call like this. Worth seeing again. Here it is again.
So you see the absolute sell down the river. Fantastic fake. Turns all the way around. So, well, there you go. Fantastic use of the media. Steph, it's been retracted, and the turnover will stand.
Great spirit there. Great, you know, Loiacono. These are these things. He felt the contact earlier in his pivot and wanted to make the call to stick to the error.
But if you commit to the throw after calling the foul, you cannot have the foul. But really great spirit from the Italian coach actually telling his player, yeah, there was a really good view of it. You can come over and have a look. And good respect from both athletes.
Love seeing this in our sport. In the biggest moments, tie game, everything on the line, and they are making the right calls out there. What great shows of spirit. Nothing better than that. Descour jams a blade. That one could have cut somebody in half, but it is caught. Now Lutz finishes the job, and Polska cash in Żukowski with the goal.
Whoa, well, tell you what, I do love to see a power knife used against a zone, and that was definitely one that came back down to earth like a comet. Good gracious me.
We better send somebody out there to check if he's got all his fingers off after that reception. That blade, very sharp, Hanny.
Let's get another look at it. Well, you can see, I think maybe just a useful release of frustration after the chat. And a spirit timeout being called on the fields, potentially?
I've definitely seen the hand signal for it. And it does look like they are melding into a spirit timeout circle.
Both teams are supposed to, of course, separately circle up before circling together. The spirit captains now on the field chatting to each other just to discuss through. I think maybe there was some choice words perhaps used during that last call. Certainly, as I say, Benedict Descour, that power blade, did seem to have a lot of a release of his energy and how he was feeling about it. So maybe just a little bit of respect needing to be re-entered into the conversations had between the players on the sidelines, because it was a very curious call. Certainly that was my view on it. It did look like there wasn't too much contact before that final throw, so maybe that was what sort of added that little bit of pressure in. But of course this is a pressure moment, and one of the beautiful things about Spirit of the Game is the mechanic that allows you to just talk things through, to bring things back to a respectful and neutral place. And that's what the Spirit Timeout's for.
Yeah, it is. When you hear Spirit Timeout, you automatically assume that the game was falling apart and there was absolutely nothing going right. I'm not sure I believe that. I mean, right before that play continued, we were saying how wonderful the Spirit was, the fact that they could resolve that in a big game. But because maybe they don't want to see anything, you know, steer down that narrow path of potentially unspirited play. They got close enough. Let's just discuss this. Let's talk about it. Make sure it doesn't happen again. We are speculative at best on exactly why that happened, but it seems like everybody is speaking calmly to one another. There's nobody up in arms.
Yeah, I don't mind this. You know, you call the Spirit Timeout early in the stages. You know, you have that opportunity for everybody to talk. We have the coaches having conversations. We have the Spirit captains having conversations. All these mechanisms to keep things as they should be. I think probably that is the thing. Probably some comments from the sideline that are heard. You know, that the kind of attitudes. And it's, you know, we have to remember, it's a youth athlete division. You have some players that are only, you know, all the way down to 14 and 15 years old in this under-20s division, this rotation, because of course there's no under-17s here in Padova. And it's a real, something we don't actually talk really, I think, enough about, Steph, is the self-refereed nature of Ultimate really develops those emotional regulation skills that pay dividends throughout your life, throughout your journey, you know, in the workplace, in your personal relationships, being able to have that self-management, to be able to step away from your initial reactions to a call, to something happening on the field, to a reaction from another player, and actually be able to bring your emotions back down, to give yourself that distance and have a calm, cordial conversation with someone who is your opponent on the field.
So they're gonna continue to work this out. We might take a short break here, and we'll be ready for the action when they've got everything resolved from a Spirit sense with this Spirit Timeout. We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc. What a grab! Oh my God! Somehow they do it! So we are back, 8-9 in favor of Poland, and a Spirit timeout just happened. We are sending out our team to find out exactly why, see if we can get a few more details onto who called it, why it was called, and what was discussed. But for now, we know that there was a Spirit timeout. They've had a big circle and had a discussion, and they are ready to get back into action now.
Well, the chat is obviously getting involved with their thoughts and feelings about this. It's always an interesting one when Spirit timeouts are called. They happen infrequently in Ultimate, which I feel like is a good kind of, you know, representation of self-officiation does work, folks. But the time clock, I believe, indeed should have stopped. Although my first ever Spirit timeout was called during an indoor match where the time could not stop because the format is only 20 minutes long in the UK. Everyone got a little bit confused as to how it all worked. And it was on Spirit of the Game Day itself.
Wow, that's like everything went perfect for Spirit of the Game Day that year.
Well, you know, it's part of the rules mechanic. As we say, it's a really good thing to be able to use to just bring things back to a good, calm, respectful and neutral position. And we will indeed get the inside track from wonderful Elia when he returns from the far sidelines.
For now, it's Novelli who brings this one in. Totti, first reception. Straight back into the hands of Malaguti. And Totti gets another touch. Marchesini. And the Italian men are managing the bulk of touches for now. Until now, Cicchetti goes back to Malaguti and gets it again. Cicchetti to Malaguti. Quick continuation there. Santalena into the scoring corner, and that one hung on to Cicchetti with some sticky fingers. That one could have got away otherwise.
Yeah, it looked for a moment like it was going to get out of her hands, but the Rimini player, just 16 years old, her second cap for the Italian nation here. She played for the under-17s back in 2022. Makes easy work of that catch in the end, a nice high reception. And it was a lovely throw from the number 79, Niccolò Malaguti. Of course, all these youngsters as well. Malaguti, we've already mentioned, just 16 years old. Plays for BFD Neptune. And says hello to his mama, papa, e mio fratello, Jacopo. So hello to all of the Malaguti family, surely watching this live stream, or possibly here. We do have some Italian fans locally, because of course, being on Italian soil.
Italian fans in the stands, if you're with us, clap your hands. I think they're clapping back home, I can hear them. And that one bounces and lands in the hands of Descour. Hammer, first of the game, Ruud collects. And that one too high. Italians will snack on it. Isola goes to Marchesini. And a low pass handled there, only just. Soriano to Malaguti. Marchesini fakes everything in the toolbox.
With
Now,
both hands as well.
Yeah, he's got a big toolbox. Malaguti. And floats one up. Soriano! Can't get there. Throw just too shapely. Ruud. Ooh, a fancy grab there to keep it alive. And the Poles. Gerus. Cuts the field in half. Nice throw there. Zajączkowska. Jabłonska, and back to Ruud, and he calls a more traditional timeout.
Well, in-play timeouts often come a cropper. We have seen, though, at this Youth European Ultimate Championships, it hasn't been that many turnovers or timeouts, depending what you call them. Sorry, turnover or
Turnouts.
turnout.
Or time overs.
There we go. That's the badger. all
You
this,
got the
all
two.
this jargon, all this jargon. And of course, we talked about a galaxy point earlier. Just for those of the audience that might have been confused by that, what is a galaxy point, Steph?
Galaxy Point is a miniature version of Universe Point. But what is Universe Point? That is a double game point when it is a tie game with only one score left to play. So, going backwards now, Galaxy Point is when it is all tied up going into half. And it plays like a mini Universe Point. That said, we will take a short break here with the teams and be back after these short words.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Yes, he will.
The lovely did.
Back in play, 9 apiece, Polish disc. Two breaks to 2 breaks. Doesn't get much better than this, Hannah.
Oh, it really does not. Neck and neck going all the way here in the pre-semi-finals moments, because of course, no quarterfinals, 7-team strong division, and how strong it really, really is.
Geddes. Oh, and right through the hands of Zajączkowska, and the Italians go again the other way. That one potentially a turnout. If the Italians can make it all work. Viziani waits for Marchesini, and he cuts himself into traffic. Too many coming. Isola. Isola goes big. Ravasio is there. Nice throw by Isola.
And the Italians put themselves back in front for a second time in this game. There's a little bit of soft coverage downfield, exceptionally well spotted. Ravasio with the goal after some amazing handler cutout. Benedict Desco really denying the underneath space, having to jink every which way back and forth. Let's have another look at this one again. Shut down on the far sideline, but just a little bit too much sitting on the back foot. The Jablonska gets blown open by Ravasio, and that's the break the Italians needed to put themselves in the top trade position. But of course, I'm pretty expectant that the Poles will punch in their hold here. They have been showing some really lovely form, just some lack of focus errors. The disc just sailing straight through the hands of Lucina Zajączkowska. But an update for you though, fans. There has been an excellent comment by our stats keeper, Elia Giraldin, who obviously went over and had a chat on the far sideline. But just to inform you verbally, it was a spirit timeout based on the usage of VAR and the way that that lengthened the discussion.
Interesting.
An interesting choice to go all the way to a spirit timeout, but that's really nice to hear though. It doesn't mean that there was a big communication breakdown. There weren't any weird calls from the sideline, no weird attitudes going on, just wanting to take a longer time to discuss it.
And so the time that was used for the spirit timeout has been put back on the clock. We've discussed with the timekeepers, approximately 5 minutes added back onto the game clock. And that is what we're playing with now. Oh, and that one, Masada almost knocks it away, but the throw was off any which way, but I think there is a foul that has been accepted.
Yeah. Really quick resolution. Ravasio with the hand slap saying, yep, I got too much of your arm on the way through for that throw.
Back into the hands of Zhukovsky. He's looking for a chisel cut and ends up going backwards to Lutz. Zhukovsky.
I'd like to see the Poles attack through from the back like that, exactly like that, moving the cup around. They are very tight, but of course that's because the handlers are very close and clustered together.
Wojciech moves it up. Zhukovsky. Oh, and just hung on to there again. Wojcik. Wojcik goes around, and now Lutz. Żuchowski, Wojcik. The Poles taking their time right now. Yes, Tronsky. Now into the hands of Sanicic. And moved on again. Yes, Tronsky, high stall count. Wojcik. That one hanging. And reception again is good. Żuchowski sends to goal, and the Poles do score. That one, Gruszecka.
Yeah, in absolute isolation at the back of the end zone. No help from the sideline there. You kind of hate to see it. A bit more communication, a bit more activity. See some blue shirts streaking down that far sideline. Could have helped to deny that Polish goal. Second asking for it. But that is a much needed hold to level us back up at 10 apiece in this pre-semi-final action. Panizio doing a really good job actually in that cup. Flashing in when he was required to, but great body control. There were no points where that big 75 shirt clattered with any of the Polish opponents. Some good movement through when they started to get a bit more active with the give goes through the cup, sort of streaking into the cup from behind. There is that channel that is available, and that is what is moving the cup nicely. Whether or not that sort of little short pass is taken or not, it sort of distracts the cup and allows those more lateral flowing movements. And there's good aggression with the lateral spacing as well. They are gaining when they're swinging it laterally around the field. So a good hold for the Polish team. 22 passes required to complete it. Still haven't really seen the Italians go into the deep double digits for any of their scores. Their highest successful tally thus far is still 13, which is a far cry from some of the Polish points that we've seen them have to be fighting against this Italian zone. But 10-10, anything could happen.
Anything could happen, and more often than not, it does. Ready for all the action here. We're so happy to be bringing it to you. First throw, smack away. Beautiful play by the Polish defender. It's no surprise. Żuchowski again. Żuchowski gets the disc. Coming under. The Poles are fired up right now. Lutz with the disc. Can they take this advantage back? This break would do it. Żuchowski coughs it up. Italians get another look. Manetti finds a space to get it to Panizio, the big man. And it's smacked away and picked up off the wobble. Italians now, they better go deep after all this. Żuchowski bids, but still Manetti. What is going on here, Hannah? Holy jumping Jawillikers.
Oh my goodness. This game is absolutely sensational, Steph. You've got hand blocks, you've got run-throughs, you've got redemptions, you've got missed opportunities with layouts, and contested in terms of just the defensive pressure on that score. Such heartbreaking scenes. Żuchowski doing everything possible. Inhuman scenes. Did he also get that hand block that was then caught? Let's have another look at this one.
So many highlights. I don't know what we're going to be looking at each time now because there's so much that just happened in that point.
Yeah, a little bit far on that resetting pass. No, it was the number 25 that got the hand block that ended up Chiretsky. Just absolute denial, but the recovery for Mariani, who I'm sure he would have been fired up, of course, after having had the disc taken away in the opening moments of that point. Wow. Just wow, Steph. This is a game.
If you haven't liked and subscribed at this stage, you have a piece of coal beneath your rib cage for a heart. Because if your heart is not pumping right now,
yeah,
goodness gracious, I don't know what would make it, but we need to get you a defibrillator.
Yeah, you got to hit that like button. Only 63 of you have liked this game, and it deserves to soar up the algorithms on YouTube.
Poland with the disc. Ruud behind everybody, now to Discours. Ruud cuts through the cup, but the throw goes to Made. Made goes to the far sideline. Boguszewski. Discours, back to Made.
I don't want a commentator's curse her, but I have to say I'm really, really impressed with Susanna Made's handling skills. She's just so calm and consistent, and her throws are just smooth as silk.
Solid as a rock back there. Zlasensko. Oh, big gainer there. Boguszewski. Shot for goal. That one counts too. Hasse with the goal, and it's 4 sticks on the scoreboard, 11 apiece.
Yeah, there was a little moment when my heart went in my throat when that disc went up to Boguszewski. The 16-year-old started just because Ultimate is so much fun, plays for the Albatross club scene, both their juniors and their seniors. Says his sporting hero is Wojciech because he's a very good handler. But that was a really lovely zone offense spread for the Polish mixed side. Of course, we saw their senior program back in Limerick also playing fantastic zone offense. A little bit of an underperformance, I think they'd probably say, at the seniors level, but if this Polish team can punch through and ascend into semi-finals here, put themselves in with real chance of getting a medal. Of course, the winner of this pre-semi will face, if I remember it correctly, the Swiss.
Yeah, Swiss at home, undoubtedly watching this game right now.
Indeed.
Preparing for whoever will fight their way through. Whoever gets there will be hardened. The steel, sharpening steel is a legitimate factor. It's nice to get a rest, but it's not so bad to fight your way through and to be big game ready from fighting through. So either way, Italy or Poland will be more than willing and up to the task of swinging with Switzerland, who have had an incredible tournament thus far themselves.
Well, too much boost on that pole's going to give a perfect field position for the Italians and their set plays. You've got 2 male matching players in the center of the field setting up. Geli alongside Totti. And Lutz is setting himself up for a nice clamp of the horizontal stack alongside Boguszewski.
Malaguti with the disc. Totti's going to get the first under. And looks upfield, Geli. Malaguti got into the deep space quick after initiating, but wide open there. Good take to Marchetti. Low and fast into the hands of Mariani. And that one to Geli. It's good. 12-11 Italians continue to dictate the pace.
Well, and still plenty of game clock left for this one to go all the way to a 14-15 universe finish, which I have to say I'm pretty hopeful for, because this game is delivering a little bit of everything. Although, having said that, I'm sure the Italians are going to keep sticking with this zone, which runs down the game clock very effectively and makes the Poles have to throw many, many passes. To just compare and contrast the last possessions, we've had 4 trades in a row. There was an opportunity, of course, squandered by the D-line of Poland, but 22 passes, 20 passes for Polish offensive execution success, whereas 4 and 5 for the Italians. You can't help but feel maybe the Polish on the handler marks need to be flatter and more aggressive to try and deny these deep shots, especially when the disc is anywhere near the hands of Gabriele Mariani.
Let's see how they contend with this. You're right, it feels like Universe Point might be an inevitability, but there's a lot left to be said before we get to that luxury. We're gonna take a short break here, and we'll be back after this timeout with some pointy end action in this mixed pre-semi.
always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
(12-11), pointy end action as promised. Pointy end action is what you're getting. Italy dictating pace. Seems like a game whoever breaks last is going to win, and right now the last break has been the Italians as Poland look to do their part and get the defense on the field. Boguszewski goes over to Wójcik. Oh, and throws right into the defense. Mariani to Totti. He spun around and he's still caught up. That is another break, and that one stings if you're wearing red.
Well, we saw Poland get an early turnover against the Italians, but a few moments, only 3 points ago. They tried to be conservative. They threw one too many reset passes that was just a little bit skew-iff and wasn't able to be redeemed by Żukowski. However, that is a hesitation upfield from a player who's been so secure whole game long. Benedikt Descour just hesitating, and a miscue immediately converted by the Italians. That is how you dominate and count. We know the Italians love a quick counter attack, and that was a fantastic example of exactly how to do it. Just pops the disc back, and immediately one of the team just zips to the deep space. And of course, it's Totti, who is pulling double duty. So a power line perhaps being played by the Italians in that point.
Double duty, Totti with the big break there. Now, I said it was a case of whomever breaks last will take it, but now with an extra break, this is a 2-point lead. This is equal the biggest lead of the game. At one point it was 6-6 rather, in favor of Poland. And I guess since then it's been advantage Italy. 3 breaks in the second half, 13-11. A 2-point lead is a huge lead in this game.
Yep, and just with 4 minutes and change left to go, and the Polish having to continue probably the charge against this Italian zone. You have to think, though, it helps the opponents in the next round to see that scouted. And then again, hesitation on the first pass. Why?
Made gets a late cut up line by Jacevich, and another turnover. Italy putting on the pressure late in the game.
We hate to see it. They have a psychological coach to help them with their mental toughness to the Polish team, but they're just really disappeared inside themselves.
Yeah, this is a show of mental strength by the Italians and just a little falter by the Poles. Too many mistakes in the late game stages. Can the Italians really make them pay? Manetti, and the bid comes late. A hand on it, not complete, but they are discussing as Descour flew through.
Well, there would be a valid foul call on that because you're not allowed to have the collateral after the play on the disc, but accepts it. Massara, no, not Massara. Nanetti happy to take that contact.
Made with the disc. Ravasio tight on the mark. Ooh, Descour just through a tight window there.
And where it's important to point out, we've seen the defensive bids come from the match defense of the Italians in the last couple of stages. And if anything, maybe that's actually putting the Polish out of their rhythm by making them go toe-to-toe. Santalena having the discussion there with Oshonda. I do think that was a very valid defensive play. Not too much contact on it, just the pressure drop. But striding to apply a mark. Żukowski, can he come up with some magic again to get the disc back for Poland?
It's Mariani with the disc. He has not been shy to shoot deep, but that one maybe should have gone deep because it gets away looking for center. Lutz gets a great grab out of Zhukovsky. Zhukovsky up and over now, Lutz. Lutz looking end zone, about 15 meters out. Zhukovsky, center. Takes his time, now gets into the hands of the 34 shirt, Descour. Far sideline, centering, Made. Made looking, now goes and calls a timeout. I think, why not? Any hesitation at this stage, take a break, think about it, and have the best response you can get.
I don't like it. I still don't like it. You have options available. Yes, there is the hesitation. Get another look at that high disc. There have been quite a few moments when they've been playing against match defense where the Polish spacing has sort of disappeared. They've had moments where it has worked out earlier stages, but it's made me sort of feel uncomfortable here in the booth thinking, oh, that was really close. Two players in very, very near space to each other. I don't think we go anywhere during this timeout, Steph, because it is really starting to hot up. We are going to have the time cap probably happen in this point, which means it will be a game potentially to 14 if Poland can punch it in. And they've got all the work to do. The story of this second half really has been about the rhythm being changed on defense.
Yeah, you know as well as anyone, Hannah, I do not like in-game timeouts. However, in a moment where Poland, we've said it, they've got the psychological coach and still in this moment having some falters with their decision-making. In this particular case, I don't mind it. 9 times out of 10 I would. This 10th time out of 10, all right, you guys have had a few get away from you on poor decisions. Let's at least discuss it with time running out, because if it gets away, if it goes the other way, that's the end of the game now.
I still don't like it. I mean, I say I didn't want a commentator's curse here. Up until this point, my day in my mind could do no wrong. Maybe didn't like the look of the reset that she had, but I do feel like there were opportunities there, and now they haven't been able to handle the pressure in the latter stages of this game, and now you're putting all of the pressure on the world on your own shoulders. I think we're coming in and about stalling 3. Yeah, that looks to be the hand signal. Great mark for Velasio.
Made. Oh, that cut did work out, but looked away. Descour tries to long jump it in, but gets Lutz on the cross pattern, and they bring it to within 1. It is a game to 14, Hannah.
It is. I still don't like it. It worked, but I still don't like it too much. However, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what I think. Indeed, game to 14. Although, of course, having added that time to the time clock, what is the formal say from the field? But when was time called over? So between the points. So we'll finish this one. We may yet get a game to 15, Steph, but maybe we'll go and confirm that.
With the timekeepers, just making sure our clocks and theirs are absolutely bang on. Elia Geraldine, our wonderful local, who's been on board with us the second time. He was with us for Spring Invite, and we're happy to have him back, checking things out.
Yeah, wonderful human, big fan. Buy him a beverage of his choosing, or give him a hug if you have that kind of relationship with him. I just want to talk about the break opportunities missed in this second half. The Polish O-line have turned over in almost every single point they have played. They are so good at recovering their points. 6 for 10 of the 14 they've played. So that shows how often they've turned over. There have been 5 turnovers the entire game for the Italian O-line. Of course, it helps that they've been throwing far fewer passes. 80 of 180 total for their team. 225 for 257 passes for the Poles on their O-line. So it's a real crazy affair here. But can Poland punch in an opportunity? Can they get an opportunity here?
So the good thing for Poland was that the time did expire after that point. So we will play this point and then +1, which means if Poland scores, oh goodness gracious. Either way, it could get tight at the end. Totti goes forward. Novelli with the disc. Novelli shoots for goal. Gelli is there. That one's on the board. Quick and easy for the Italians. It's 14-12, game to 15.
Not winning the battle for those grinds up line. Again, we see an exceptionally quick Italian conversion. I think we just saw a clipboard spike from one of the coaches. They are fired up and ready to try and turn the scoreline the opposite of their matchup yesterday. Of course, that was a Polish victory, 15-13 in the end, but some athletes being rested. Now full fat squads just working in very small channels, but the issue is if you're the Polish, you have to do better than just giving them small channels to work with. Those are still the first look, the rapid pace, 4 passes for the score. It's just the numbers for the execution on the Italians. It's just shocking in the best way. So it looks like we may well get an opportunity for Italian full sweep here at the European Youth Ultimate Championships, unless the Polish can punch in this goal and then ask some serious questions of the Italians, because they're going to need 2 breaks to put this one back the
Never
right way around.
happens to hold in 2 breaks to close out a game, does it? Have you ever seen it?
Oh, I have. I
Wait,
have.
oh, just yesterday. Oh, wait. It does happen from time to time. So, advantage Italy, yes. But I've seen this happen before. And if you are entertained at home and if you believe there's some potential, go ahead, hit that like button. We're almost at 100. We would love to get there. Like and subscribe, become a patron, and more action like this will be brought to your screens. Here comes Poland, a must-hold situation. Descour with the disc. Made, nice cut and a nice delivery to get it back into her right hand. Low and hard, too much on it. Lutz can't hang on. This could be the game if the Italians can walk it into that end zone. Totti to Isola.
Well, it's all been about recovery for the O-line of the Poles. Can they do one more?
Balista. Oh, and there they are! Big step in front. Zhutkowski with another block. Descour. Poles need this. Zhutkowski. Descour gets some meters and a look at that break side for a second. Throws low. Boguszewski. Boguszewski goes wide. Lutz is there. Totti coming, and Totti cleans it up and spikes it away.
Yeah, a really nice idea on a high stall, but way too much air underneath that throw. It's a shame that sort of looking off some upline options that are potentially there, but that one just hung for days, and Tommaso Totti doesn't have to worry about catching it, can just happily slap the disc out of contention.
One more try for Italy to win the game.
And they throw into coverage.
And it's Boguszewski. Another opportunity. That one does count. And the Poles survive to play another point. Zhutkowski with that goal.
Well, he's been such a pivotal player, getting the disc back again and again for Poland. They recover another offensive point in this game. The last time we saw a clean offensive hold required 20 passes. It wasn't that long ago. It's the one that took us to 11s. But the Italians now sitting pretty. They just need to punch one more in, and all of the Polish nation now behind, I'm sure their under-20 squatters, they're all now knelt or stood on the field. Power lines as we reach 100 likes of this game. Thank you, viewers. Lovely to have you all here alongside us. Local time just about midday, so I'm sure you're enjoying, many of you in the Central European time zone, a lunch break as we bring you the last minutes of this game. 7 minutes of overtime here in Padova under the hot midday sun. And Steph, I'm so excited for this.
It's still like this is Italy has got their O-line on the field, but something tells me that we're going to get a break here. I don't know why. I don't know. I could be wrong. I've been wrong once in my life.
Because it's what we want. It's what we want. We have no bias. We don't care who wins the universe point finish. We just want it to go to 14s.
That's exactly what the blue-shirted team do not want right now. They want to end this quickly. No chance of universe point because we all know once you get to universe, anything can happen.
But no Tommaso Totti on the field for Italy.
Interesting choice. They'll have him, if necessary, for the big one. Mariani. Cicchetti. Gelli well covered up. Now gets it coming back into the cup. Polish defense with a 1-3-2-1 zone. Mariani! Holy dooly, just hangs on to that one.
I really like the choice of zone here.
That one into Marchesini. Now they're on the front foot. Marchesini again from Marchetti. This Polish defense is getting very close. Little conversation on the field right now between Gelli and Wojciech.
Well, all of the athletes racing down the field trying to apply the zone. I really like the choice of zone, and there have been two real big threats.
Good moment right now to put my heart back inside my chest. After that bit of action, the Polish defense is coming. We do have a pick is what has been called, I believe. Gelli hand slaps with Ruud, the spirit captain, as well. Vezzani on the field, the Italian spirit captain, making sure this one is resolved right. It looks like we're just about ready to get back into play. Marchesini with disc in hand.
Well, I guess it's whether or not we're trying to now transition on defense out of the zone and into match coverage. We're back in play.
Marchesini goes wide and around. Mariani. Now the far sideline, Nanetti back to Mariani, and the Poles do decide to stay in the zone. Mariani and Nanetti play a little bit of catch. Now they involve Marchesini. Ooh, scooper just in front, and Mariani goes down to one knee to get it. Handler is happy to play behind the disc. Now, Marchetti gets in on it. Marchesini to Mariani. Marchesini again. The Italians threatening to win. They've done it. That one to Gelli, and the Italians are moving on to the semifinal with a victory here against Poland.
Well, what a fantastic game that was. We didn't get the universe point delivery, but we did get an exceptionally high octane final point there. The Polish defense throwing literally everything on the kitchen sink at the Italians, but they just couldn't quite ask the right questions. The calm, cool, under control way in which they played that final point. There was that little slide required for Gabriele Mariani, who I think probably has to be my player of the match for the Italians. Such consistent distribution, 5 assists and the 1 goal that he got on the far right sideline end zone. But just get another look at these flying bids, just a hair's breadth away from the disc so consistently. Marchesini with ice in his veins this entire point. Just such wonderful scenes coming out of the Italian mixed squad. They turned the score around, indeed, a mirror image of their defeat yesterday, 15-13. They will advance into the championship bracket to face the Swiss tomorrow. But heart goes out to the Poles. They played so well in that game until the second half, where they just started to come a little bit unglued. They had real opportunities. I have to say, Steph, if that moment where there was the turnover at 11-10, if they'd managed to turn it on after getting that block on the first pass, this could have been a very different scoreline indeed. But home field fans very happy here in Padova.
Home field fans very happy in Padova. Swiss we know they were watching. Hinkle showed up in the chats to let us know that they're ready and waiting to see who gets across and wins this one. And they are going to face the Italians. The Italians came through in the clutch as the Poles had a small faltering. We have got ourselves some interviews incoming. I've got Totti seated next to me. We'll have a chat with him in just a moment. And it's Vanetti. Oh, it's Vezzani, I'm sorry. Trying to get my head around who we're talking to here in just 1 second. But before we get started with the Totti interview, we've got the whole Italian team coming to check it out and see how we go. Of course, big win by Italy, 15-13. And we'll start with Tommaso Totti. First of all, congratulations.
Thanks.
On the victory. First of all, tell me how it feels. You guys are going to the semifinal.
It's a very good feeling. It was a tough game, a very difficult one, but all the team played well. So I'm very happy because we are evolving through the tournament. So I'm very happy with that.
Excellent. At halftime, Poland had a lead 8-6. What did you guys talk about at your halftime chat, being down in the half, or before you went into half? What was the mentality? What was the discussion?
First, we tried to cheer up, and then we were sure that we were going to win. So that was the mentality.
That great mentality. You guys did get 3 breaks in the second half. You went well ahead at 10-9. You took it. Did you feel like after the first 2 breaks that the game was going to be for Italy? Did you guys have a feeling that victory was coming?
Talking for me, yes. I was very sure that we were going to win because I saw that all the team was confident with itself. So I was pretty sure that we were going to win.
Wonderful. I'll pass the headset to Elisa Vezzani. Elisa, congratulations as well to you.
Thank you.
Now you guys have a little bit of time to celebrate, but tomorrow, semi-final against Switzerland. How will you prepare tonight and tomorrow before the game?
Probably we'll be with the team a lot. We'll cheer up a bit, try to get our head on the field as probably as we can. We're very confident. We are very happy to be there. And so we'll cheer up as much as possible. We want to get our mentality up as much as we can. And just cheer up as much as we can.
Great. Of course, one big game tomorrow. If you guys can win, you guys get to play in Silvio Appiani Stadium. What would that mean to you to have a chance to play in an Italian stadium for a European final?
Well, we have gone through very tough games. Some games weren't the best. So that would mean that we got our head up, we could cheer up a lot, and that our team has been together through difficulties, but that we got there. So we'll get all that we can on that field to get there on the final. And so, we're the mixed Italian, so we will give everything.
Wonderful stuff. We don't doubt that you'll give everything. Congratulations to both of you. Go enjoy with your team for now, and good luck tomorrow in your semi-final.
Thank you
Congratulations
so much.
to the Italians. And their team will welcome them back. The Italians are off to the semi-final. Hanny coming back in. We'll have a quick word before we switch over to our next game. A happy bunch wearing blue today. Hanny.
Absolutely. Well, the Italians, now the other nation that can achieve a clean sweep of the golds if they can manage to defeat their opponents in all of the other divisions. Of course, the Swiss have been watching this game. They will be looking forward to taking apart that Italian zone look tomorrow. But we're not going to have a second morning, well, a second afternoon game slot. But looking at the match stats here, the break opportunities all over the place for the Italians. Actually, their conversion rate not that good. The Polish O-line definitely just had too many turnovers, especially in that second half. But the conversion rate in the first half for Poland was very, very effective. And just so few turns for the Italian O-line. The rapid pace with which they scored. I think just getting another look at the full stats that we have in our system, Steph. How many turnovers was it in total for the Italian O-line? 5.
Yeah, that's a pretty good day at the office. 5 turnovers for a junior mixed club here on the European stage, with a defense that the polls showed will keep coming and coming and coming. To only give 5 opportunities is a pretty good showing.
Yeah.
Are you highlighting a stat that is 7 of 11 for me right now?
It is.
Oh,
it's a
Annie.
slurpy-licious recovery for the Polish O-line. They did manage to recover 7 of their 11 points, but they just didn't have the execution level they needed to punch them in consistently, and I think that was what put them under that amount of pressure in the end stage. They fought very, very well, but hats off to the Italians, and good luck in the championship bracket.
Well, that is about it for today, or for this morning. We've got a break. We've got a 4 p.m. game. We'll get you the results on that one.
It's going to be Germany, Great Britain in the women's division in the 5 to 7 placement bracket. GB had a difficult game earlier on today against the Czech Republic women. They rested some players yesterday, the Czechs, in their live stream game against the Germans. So 15-4 the victory. Czech women will ascend into semi-finals, and GB will be playing on our live stream at 4 o'clock local time.
Very exciting stuff. Don't you go anywhere. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being with us, for liking, for subscribing, and for putting up with our constant reminders to do as much. We appreciate it very, very much. For Hannah Pendlebury, I've been Stefan Rapazzo, right here on ULTI.TV, and we'll catch you at the next one.
Thank you. Thanks.
Merci beaucoup. Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.